Howdy, Beefalo Bard here, and thanks for joining me on this video. And what I want to talk about today is just briefly cover some of the things that we can try to get ready for patch 1.8. And this one is actually more towards the new PvP game mode. And with that, I don't know if anybody or if everybody is up to speed on what's going on with it. It is a 4 versus 4, player versus player, on a very small, fast-paced map. Now, okay, that's great. Absolutely love it. Here's one thing that I actually do like that might actually draw me into it a little bit more. It's a little less RNG motivated. In other words, what's going to happen is if you have a gear set item or your gear item, whenever you go into the battle, it's going to, if this stays the same now, this is just what I heard from early release notes. Okay, whatever gear set item you carry in there, or gear item you carry in there, the stats that are on there are going to get a buff to max stat roll on that item. So if you're running this right here, well, poor example, but you know, keep in mind, you know that on a regular item, your max stat roll is going to be 1272. Now, I don't know if this is going to count for all three stats across the board, but would assume for sure the max stat here would be 1272 for your max roll. And then on the chest piece, it's actually a 9% skill haste. So I would imagine your major attributes would be buffed also. I'm not sure, but I know for sure that they're going to do this right here. And it would be nice if the entire piece is actually maxed to its max stat roll. So your item, if you're going in there with a Reclaimer vest on, you're going to have what's going to boil down to instantly getting a god roll right off the bat. So 1272 here, 9% skill haste here if we're using this particular one. I think it's what, 11% exotic damage resilience, and who cares about the increased kill XP, but you know, that would be it. But if you're carrying in a classified gear set item, your max stat roll on your main stat is actually 1401. Now, again, it would be awesome if it would give you all three at 1401, but for sure you're going to get 1401 here, and again, you get your max skill haste. If they include the major and minor attributes as well as the main stat roll, that would be kick-ass. Now, keeping that in mind, you just need the gear item that you're going to need that has the base attributes that you're going to want. And if that being the case, then you automatically get buffed to a max stat roll, so you don't have to worry about if you got some crap classified gear from the last global event. As long as you got the gear, you should be all good to go whenever you enter into that new player versus player mode. So that should prove to be quite interesting. So if you are not prepared now, what could or should you be looking for gear set wise? Now, this is where it comes into a little bit different choice here, and I'm not sure how it's going to be for going in as a group. If you're able to go in, queue up as a group as 4 versus 4, that would be awesome. Then you can kind of plan your team based on what's actually your preference and what your team actually needs. You need somebody with a Reclaimer? Well, maybe, maybe not, because of the fast-paced action that's going to be taking place here. I'm not sure how much a reclaimer set's going to be worthwhile. Now, would definitely consider Lone Star, because in 1.8 we're also getting a buff to LMGs, but you can also think about maybe an Alpha Bird setup with SMGs, because you can have one with a fast rate of fire, one with a slow rate of fire, and kind of adjust it as you go by switching between the two weapons. The damage rolls are going to be more balanced because of the new method of the way they're going to handle rate of fire issues. So something with a slow rate of fire, say, I know this isn't, but it's 825, the Midas with 550. How many people actually use a Midas because of the low rate of fire? More people, if they're going to run a submachine gun, they're going to go for the PP-19, they're going to go for the MP7, 950 rounds per minute. They're not going to go for the Midas, just because that rate of fire is not going to give them as much DPS. And that's going to be corrected with 1.8. So base your decision on what you want It's, if you have a good rolled firearm, stick with it. If you like the roll on it, but maybe not like the numbers overall right now, you may want to hang on to that weapon until 1.8 hits, so you actually have a chance to see if it's going to be even more worthwhile. So with the rate of fire adjustment, that's something to look out for. Gear set wise, the gear set that I run for my casual, just kind of screw around setup, as you see, I'm running a reclaimer set with Final Measure 2-piece, Ninja Bag, and 3-piece on Tacticians. So I get all the benefits of having a 4-piece Tacticians, but I have 2 classified gear sets to kind of buff up my skills a little bit and buff up my numbers a little bit, while not sacrificing my skill haste. Now, is this going to be good for that? No, probably not. Unless you just really want to use a turret. Maybe if you want to use a Firecrest setup. But I don't think that a Seeker or turret-based build is actually going to be worth a damn. I've lost some skill haste here somewhere. Going to have to fix that. Again, Lone Star, I think, is probably going to do pretty good because light machine guns are going to get readjusted. Any assault rifle build naturally is going to be good, especially with the balance. I don't think the FAMAS is going to be, or excuse me, it's not called the FAMAS anymore. It's called the Bullfrog. I don't think it's going to be a dominant gun because of the rate of fire. Lightweight M4. It's going to change the meta on how we look at the weapons between 1.7 and 1.8. So with all the changes going on, it's going to make a considerable difference in what you select for a weapon. But to get prepared, start looking at your idea for your gear rolls of what you actually want, and not necessarily the stats, the actual roll of the numbers on them, but if you're going to want to build a gear set just for the 4v4 PvP match, then look at what the rolls are. If you want to build health, skill haste, those kind of numbers there, think about the stats instead of the numbers. That way you can plan ahead and be ahead of the curve, so whenever the patch does hit, you're not as screwed overall. And yeah, I'm still collecting gear pieces here and there. Got a better nimble. Just because I'm still trying to get the last of what I can on these damn achievements. There are so many. Again, to look forward to 1.8 and that gear mode. Right now, Global Assault is where the new current accommodations are. And I'm just about done with that one, even though the event hasn't come up yet. Again, get some practice on running the missions that are going to be in the next global event to get ready for it, because hopefully by the time 1.8 is released, they'll also have the global event. Not sure if that's a great idea, because releasing the patch with a bunch of new content at the same time as a global event, I think it's going to be competing for what gets the most attention. But the list of global event assault missions: Queen's Tunnel, Russian Consulate, Grand Central Station, General Assembly, and Falcon Lost. If you want to maximize your global event credits, then these are the missions you need to be training on and practicing on now to try to get a speed routine done. Again, during the assault, now if you don't know what the difference is between global event, the assault, and the other one was called Outbreak. Outbreak was you get the headshot and their head explodes in a pretty orange mist. Okay, cool. But also, whenever you get close to your targets on the Outbreak maps, which was, you know, a certain level, but you got close to the mobs, what would happen is you would become infected and you would start taking some major damage. I mean, quickly. So, you know, that's one of the things that made the global event Outbreak stand out. You get close, you take damage just from proximity, and it can and will kill you. However, during global event Assault, the closer you get a buff to your damage and the amount of damage that you do being close range. On the flip side also, the farther you are away from the NPCs, they get a buff on damage for distance. So they're going to want to, well, they're not going to change how they attack, but if they're farther distance away and they're shooting at you, they're going to do more damage than normal. However, if you get up close and personal and you start laying into them, then I would definitely say that's where you want to be. You get up close and personal and you're going to get that extra buff to damage, and that's going to make for some interesting fun. Which is why for the global event, I've got a D3 FNC setup specifically rolled towards good firearms but better electronics, and pretty much not as much in the toughness realm, because you're going to be deploying your shield. And with that shield out, you're going to absorb a lot of damage, and as long as you play smart with it, then you're not going to have a problem. You're going to sit there and soak up the damage with your shield while you're able to get up close and personal and do insane amounts of damage. I mean, you will be shredding the enemy. As long as you have a decent firearms rating, it's going to get amplified on top of that. So yeah, that's going to be awesome. By having the higher electronics and building up your skill power, that's going to give you a stronger shield so you can withstand more damage while dishing out more damage. So yeah, that's why I went for this build right here. This one is specifically set up for global event Assault, and it's going to be awesome. It probably won't be too bad for the 4v4, but I think the shield actually will slow you down a little bit and may not be as good. Top choice for me, being a casual gamer. I would say for other casual gamers looking for a decent 4v4 PvP build, try the Lone Star. Not bad. Try looking at an Alpha Bred and Tacticians build, or even just anything you can do with Tacticians. You know, the MDR, Seeker Mine. Seeker Mines work really good with the MDR, because with the MDR, what you're going to get is, it's in here somewhere, right there. So with the MDR, distracted, your damage is increased by 18% against targets with status effects. the Seeker Mine is actually going to, if you have it set up correctly, will initiate a bleed effect, and if you set up your talents, you're going to cause things around that target to bleed also. I don't know how that works necessarily, but oh well, it works. So throw out a Seeker, get your target bleeding, and just plaster the crap out of them with the MDR. So yeah, that's your options. But for right now, I wish there was a distracted on, or something as close as possible to SMGs, because if you're not familiar with the D3 FNC set, then yeah, the 4-piece set on that is going to allow you to deploy your shield, but use a submachine gun while you have your shield deployed. And that alone, combined with global event modifier for assault, yeah, you don't necessarily have to be super accurate with it, but get up close, make headshots, and just rake it across the board. Alright, so I hope this little bit of tidbit information will help you a little bit with getting set up, getting ready for 1.8 in this new PvP mode. And if you have any questions, please leave comments, and we'll see you in the next video.